Howdy, riders. Welcome back to Ride Between the Wines. As a matter of fact, for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be more like sit between the wines because I'm actually getting out of the car. Because at this year's Charleston Food and Wine Festival, I had the opportunity to sit down with some very cool folks. And so the next 3 weeks are some of the podcasts that we've done with them. This is week one with Chema Ryan Murua, who is the winemaker of Bodegas Muriel and actually quite a few other wineries in Spain that we're going to list halfway through the show or put in the program notes because we actually didn't talk about them a lot on the podcast. But Chema was an amazing guest, very cool person to talk to. So if you're ready, buckle up. Let's ride.
The world we live in is an amazing one, full of passion, wonderment, and of course, fine wine. This is the story of one man's journey to fully understand and appreciate that world. So kick the tires and light the fires. It's time to ride between the wines.
It's Burgundian in style.
Just a whisper of cherry.
Very nice legs.
This is so perfectly balanced.
Such an old world style.
Is this laced with tobacco?
A total fruit bomb.
I say, Ponce!
All right, so welcome back to Ride Between the Wines. I want to go ahead and say that if you watch this for the next 4 weeks, purple suit is not my favorite color. I'm doing several podcasts in one day, although it's going to look like I'm wearing a purple suit every single day, but it does look good. But anyway, so I'm at Charleston Food and Wine this week, and I've luckily run into a couple of winemakers who've been willing to sit down for a few minutes with me, and so here we are. So we're going to start off this week with Chema.
Yeah.
Chema is from Bodegas Muriel.
Muriel, yeah.
And and we just started chatting off camera, and I was like, I need to ask you real questions about this stuff. So let's start off with tell me about the family who owns the winery and your connection with them.
The winery I work with is a family-owned business. Okay, it was Jose Murua, that was my grandfather, that started the winery, the business many years ago. We would say like the 1920s, 1926. Okay, and we're based in Rioja. Okay, it's the northern part of Spain, the leading producing region or most known region.
I feel like if you know any Spanish wine, you know Rioja. In America.
Right. Okay. And then the winery has been run by our family till now, and that's it. We're a big winery in Rioja, but still family owned and family run.
And so, I mean, I guess you were born and bred in the winery life. I mean,
Yeah. It's something that since a small kid I've seen it, and one day I decided, yes, I want to get into the business and carry on with this.
Did you work your way up to winemaker? I mean, did you start out in the harvests and everything like that?
I've done everything in the winery. I even worked for other wineries. Okay.
All in Spain, or?
All in Spain, all in Rioja. Okay. I started to work in other wineries and then went back to the family business.
So one thing I want to get out of the way, because we just talked about it a little bit off camera, but I want to say it again. If you're listening and you're like me and just assumed that the Spanish winemaker you're about to meet was going to have a very thick Spanish accent, he does not. And why is that again? I just think this is interesting to me.
Soy español, hablo español, soy de España, pero... But I have, I learned English in England. When I was a small boy, I had the luck to be sent to England.
To England to learn the real English.
To learn, I stayed there like 3 years in England, and for me it was a great experience where I learned English, and logically through time you have to keep it up, and I've tried to keep it up.
Well, yeah, it caught me off guard, but it's awesome. Sorry, as a side note, I wanted to get there. And you also mentioned that you have a brother who went to England to learn English with you? Or
no, I've got 4 other brothers.
4 other brothers,
and
okay.
they went as well.
They went. So, what is their role with the winery?
No, they don't have to do anything with the winery. All have totally different livings.
And
medical,
everybody still in Spain?
Engineer, finance. They all live in Spain, all around Spain. But
And do you have kids?
Yeah, 2 daughters. Yes.
Are they gonna
I don't
carry on the
think so.
torch? No.
One is studying to become a doctor,
Uh-huh.
and the other one is 12. So I think she doesn't know still what.
Well, you guys, it's a
What it's gonna
little
be.
early for that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your wines a little bit.
Okay.
So obviously, do you make just reds? Is it all
Rioja
Tempranillo?
is, I would say, is 95% reds, although we do some whites.
Okay. Okay.
But Rioja is Tempranillo is mainly reds.
Now, are all of your Riojas 100% Tempranillo, or are they blends?
Yes,
or?
basically yes. Although sometimes we work as well with grape varieties as Grenache,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and Mazuelo, okay, that's the French Carignan equivalent, and Graciano, that's a very local grape that we have in Rioja.
Okay. And what would you say the pairing, if anybody, food wise? What does Rioja go with?
Tempranillo is a grape that well, the first thing is that ages very well. So the wines that you get, they're very, I would say, mid-body wines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're very not full-bodied wines, so they're very easy or friendly drinking wines.
Okay.
So in terms of food pairing, they work really well because they can logically reds tend to pair better with food and with meat and
Mm-hmm.
more strong dishes. But nevertheless, they can still pair very well with fish. Okay.
Okay.
Tempranillo, as I was telling, ages very well. So with time, they even get very, very gentle wines, very, very soft wines. Their acidity is not very pronounced, so that makes that with any food, they make a very good blend match.
Mm-hmm. And so Rioja is very well known for having wine and oak for a very long time
Yes.
before you guys release
Yes.
anything.
Yes, and that is something that we still do it. Logically, we adapt to times and things are changing. Back in the old times, we had agings up to 4 or 5 years in oak, but now, logically, due to the market as well, likes more or tends to like more fruity type wines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we still have the wines in barrel, or the longest aging we do is 30 months, 36 months. That's like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but because the aging at the end, it's something that is very characteristic of Rioja and very characteristic to our style. And I think we're not going to change that logically, but we have to adapt to the market.
That makes sense.
So we still put the wines into barrels, and barrels is a very important thing to a business. Okay, but nevertheless, although we have very long times in the barrel, we try to always make the wine be the main actor. We all want
You don't want to cover it up.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
You have to think that in Rioja we have a big amount of barrels. Okay, it's the region in the world where most barrels are. Okay, let's say in Rioja we have like 1.2 million barrels. Okay, that makes you the number. Okay, but logically we don't use 100% new oak for everything, so that permits us to have the wine in barrels and not be over oaked.
Wait, you say that you have the largest number of barrels. Do you mean that they're Spanish oak barrels, or just the number of barrels you guys actually?
No, what I'm trying to say is that to emphasizing the importance of aging process in Rioja is that Rioja holds the biggest amount of barrels in the world as a region.
Huh.
You
I
understand?
didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the exact figures, but in the world there could be like 3 million barrels overall. In Rioja there's 1 million.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just to
That's
make
huge.
out, to pinpoint out the figures and
Gotcha.
why barrels are so important to us.
And so, what is the typical oak used for the barrels?
Yeah, the typical oak use first mainly is American origin. Okay, like a media would be like 70% American, 30% French. Okay, traditionally Rioja was 100% American, but from the last 30 years here, we've begun changing. Okay, we're changing, trying new things, and French oak is going very strong in Rioja. Okay,
Okay.
that would mean that the use either American or French would give us even more complexity to our wines. Okay.
Would you say that, because you kind of touched on this earlier, the style that you have to keep up with the changes in the market?
Yes.
Would you say that the people in Rioja today would prefer to drink a slightly different style Rioja than what the rest of the world is buying?
No, the good thing that today, the good question. Now in Rioja you have all the styles.
Okay.
I mean, traditionally, if we went 40 years back in Rioja, it was practically same style.
Mm-hmm.
Very oaky, very long age wines. Okay, now, and I say thankfully, because people have different tastes, and this works like this.
Mm-hmm.
We have from ultra modern, concentrated, fruit-driven Riojas, and still we have the classical, very gentle, very complex or elegant, fine oaked Riojas.
Tell me, we kind of touched on pairing too. What are people typically eating? What is typical dish in Rioja?
Rioja is a land that mainly it's vegetables. We grow loads of vegetables.
Okay.
Okay. And in terms of meat, we work a lot with lamb and beef, although our main dish is lamb. Okay.
Okay.
But mainly it's focused everything on vegetables. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. We don't work a lot with fish, although we have the sea quite near, like 100 miles. Okay. But mainly the Rioja food is based in a blend of meat, and that normally is lamb with vegetables.
Vegetables are prepared all over the place. Is there a typical?
Very. We grow a lot of artichokes. We grow a lot of. We have good tomato. We have very good asparagus.
Mm-hmm.
We have very good leeks. We have all types of vegetables. Although one of the best or local dishes we have here is called menestra.
Okay.
Menestra is like a salad made of vegetables with some meat, and that's the star there. Then we have the typical patatas a la riojana. That means it's potatoes with chorizo and with a bit of pepper. Okay, and then we have the famous small lamb chops that we've done it with the important thing, the lamb chops in Rioja have to be done with the shoot vines. They have to be cooked with the shoot vines.
Interesting. What does that do?
What we do is we take the shoot vines from the pruning, okay, we let them dry, okay, and then we burn them. And with the ashes of that, we put the lamb chops, like in a grill, and it's just 2 minutes. We turn once or twice with a bit of salt, and that
sounds amazing.
It sounds very, it tastes better than it looks.
Well, that sounds very cool. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break if we have a sponsor, and we're going to come right back. All right, so we are back, and I wanted to take a few minutes, since I have a winemaker, to kind of talk about the minutia of winemaking. So how many years have you actually been making wine?
I've been making wine since 1999.
Okay, so yeah, you have a good while under your belt.
Yeah, and well, the good thing about when I started winemaking, the head winemaker I worked with told me, remember that every year is going to be different, and it's true.
Yeah.
Every year I learn something new, and for me it's one of the advantages or one of the luck I have of working with wine. Every year is different. Every year grapes are not the same, so it's a learning process.
Do you attempt to have a consistent house style regardless of vintage, or do you kind of appreciate that 15 was a tough vintage and it shows this in the wine versus that, like vintage variation? Is that something that you like to show in your wines from different years? Or do you
it's without vintage variations, this business wouldn't be what it is to start with. Okay, that's always what I believe, that can be good and can be bad, but for me it's more good than bad. Okay,
that's nice.
And normally in the vintage variations, normally they affect production logically, and logically they affect quality. So as I say, our work as a winemakers have to really be focused in trying to every vintage focus what the vintage has of good. Every vintage we can think it's bad, but it's not bad. We have to pinpoint or try to make what the vintage give us showing the wines. Okay.
Well, that kind of follows into my next question, which is over that span, I know the climate has changed a lot. How has that affected you? What have you noticed that's maybe different year to year now?
I remember when I was a very small kid, and my hometown in Rioja, where I work, wasn't in the business technically yet, but I remember harvesting in November. The last bunches of grapes coming at the beginning of November, even near with the snow. Okay, that sounds a bit awkward. Okay, but 2 years ago, 2017, I started harvesting 26th of August.
Wow.
That makes
That's huge.
the date difference is so ample. Okay, so to your question, yes, the climate change is on us, it's affecting us. Okay, but we don't have to take. I think we don't have to take climate change as a menace. We will have to take our precautions, but we have to take it as an opportunity. In the case of Spain, or in the case of an area, you have to think that Spain is the second most, how do you say, have more mountains after Switzerland in Europe. Okay, so what's happening now in Spain that we are trying, or due to the climate change, we are going up the mountain. So we're going up the mountain, and in some cases the terroirs are changing. The wines can start to change, and it's in that sense it's an opportunity.
Is there any thought of planting any different varietals?
No.
No.
In that case, no. I mean, in Rioja, we logically Tempranillo is a star. We have others like Grenache, Mazuelo, that's Carignan, Graciano. We have other even more minor varieties that we are trying to show them, like in whites, are part of the classical Vura. We have the white Tempranillo. It's a very promising white variety. We're starting to work on very strongly. And then we have other varieties as very, very local, as Maturana, red Maturana and white Maturana. Okay, so we're doing new things.
I didn't ask you this earlier. I hear a lot about clonal variation in some places in the world. Is that something you guys mess with, as much different clones of Tempranillo, or is it? Yeah,
there's loads. Now if you go to the let's say, or the grape or the vine shop to get plants to plant, the range of clones you have, it's massive. Okay, of the same grape. But normally we work with clones that we've selected by ourselves. Okay, so we know them very well. But more important than the clone sometimes is where you plant, and the microclimate, what we call the terroir. Okay, so that's how we deal with it. Okay.
Have you in your time had to do a lot of replanting, or a lot of the stuff still some original vines that you've been working with?
No, we don't replant a lot. I mean, you have to think that we have vineyards, or the vineyard starts producing like when it's 3 years old. Okay, but we have vineyards up to 120 years old. So more or less when we replant, it's more a matter of that the vineyard no longer produces, let's say, a profitable production. Okay.
Right.
But it's not an issue, but some good thing for example, in Rioja, we are making more strong is to try to keep up with the old vineyard.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's such a pleasure to have you here. Is there anything else that you want to tell people about your wines other than go out and try them? Any other fun?
Muriel wines, the wines we produce at Muriel are wines that I work for them. I do them, and it's not good to say this, but it's wines that is the perfect wine they can try to know about Rioja, about the Rioja wines. I mean, or to know about Tempranillo. You have to think that Tempranillo is original from Rioja. Okay, we've been working with Tempranillo nearly 200 years, and as an aging grape, and it's a wine that the good thing about Tempranillo is that it's a very friendly, very good food pairing grape, and it goes well with everything. And wine, as I said, is made to people enjoy, and I think they're gonna enjoy it.
That's great. Well, your wines are delicious, and I'm so happy you sat down with me. And
it's a pleasure.
And yeah, thanks.
And there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. Thank you so much to Chema. Very nice getting to know you. And fantastic wines. If you haven't got a chance to try some of them, again, they're in the program notes, or they flashed in the middle of this. Please join us next week when we have Robert Pepe. huge winemaker, currently the winemaker of Eponymous and quite a few other wines that he consults on, and big part of the California wine scene. So very excited to have him. Other than that, please click to subscribe, watch some other videos. All my podcasts are available in audio also, and Spotify and Anchor and all that good stuff. And if you like it, tell your friends, give us a good review. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Till then, chin chin.